Good morning, kids. We are going to add another page in our interactive notebook on central tendency, which for you probably refer to as the study of mean, median, mode, and range. So, hashtag goals. I want to have a really nice professional opportunity to make these great videos for you, but it seems like I'm always scrambling, trying to put things together on my own at the last minute. So we're going to move really quick. Thank goodness this is not new information. This is just a review for you. So it will be really quick. And just a quick look, you might want to pause here and make sure your interactive notebook table of contents is caught up. We've just quizzed over transformations. So I skipped the line because we're starting a new unit. So you'll have a new page over this data unit. This might be your 6th unit of the year, might be more. So let's just put data unit for now, and that will be page 53 this year. And page 54 is going to be the interactive notebook page on central tendency. So what you're going to need is you're going to need this slip right here, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards that I'm going to give to you that you're going to reveal, and you're going to put the card in here where the circles are. And then from that, you're going to find the minimum, the maximum, the range, mode, median, and mean. This will be kind of fun. And when you're done, you're going to have an opportunity maybe for a breakout. That will be a really cool thing. You're also going to need this half sheet where we're going to just review the concepts of what mean, median, mode, and range are, look at some quick notes, and do one example based on the scores of our last quiz for my smallest class. And so we will do that together. So for now, we need to turn to page 54 in your interactive notebook. And you can see at the bottom of my page, I went ahead and cut out and glued in my activity strip for my cards. And at the top of my page, and I misspelled tendency, I always do that, I have my notes to go over central tendency. So, okay, I hope that you're ready to go. You'll need a pencil, and if you want to, you can use 4 different colored pencils as long as they're sharp, because we're not going to do a lot of writing. You'll need a regular pencil to go ahead and solve, because we don't do any calculations with any kind of color pencil or pen, and you should have a space here to do your calculations. So you need a pencil as well as your pens, and then you should have your bottom piece. You don't have to have it glued in yet, you just need to have them in front of you. Okay, so let's talk about what the mean is. The mean is the mean old math teacher. That's what I always refer to, because, mean, because she makes you do the hardest jobs, because mean can have the most work involved. How do you find the mean? That's simply where you add up all your data, and then you divide by the number of data points that you had. And I know that there's a glare in here, and I'm so sorry about that. Let's see if that gets any better. Not too much better. But I have this other column here that's called also. And also is just other things that you kind of need to know. You might want to know it's one of the most popular measures of central tendency. It's kind of what we tend to go to first. It's usually you're going to see it whenever we do your grades. As a student, that's probably what you're most familiar with. But here's something that's super important. You can't have outliers. The reason you can't have outliers is because outliers will mess up your data. So you usually are an A and B student, and so your average should be an A or a B. But if you make a 0, then that's going to pull your grade down and misrepresent. It's going to lie about your data. So those are the most important things to know about the mean. Let's talk about the median. The median is, I always kind of refer to as like this middle spot in a road, and you might have like passing lanes and stuff, but in this middle concrete barrier, it's kind of the middle. There's nothing else to know about it except that you can find it by finding the middle. To find it, you need to put in order, and then you simply find the middle piece of data. What's important to know about this is if you have two numbers in the middle, what do? You simply take your two middle numbers and you average the results. Average the results of your two middle numbers. I know that's kind of messy and I'm doing this in cursive. How about mode? How are we going to find the mode? The mode is the most often. I kind of underline the M and the O, stands for most often. And so to find the most often, you pick the one which is most popular. Another thing to know about that is if it's in a bar chart, it's the highest bar. So it's often easiest to use when you're having graphs that you're looking at. And it's most used whenever like we have a vote, like who wants to do this activity, the most votes win. So it would be the mode that wins. Finally, let's talk about range. Range is basically the difference, okay? That's the distance between the high and the low. So to find it, you find your high score and you subtract your low score. Just like once you guys are used to using this, and so sometimes for a reminder, you'd be like, what's the mean again? You're like, oh, that's when we add and divide. You're like, range again? Oh yeah, that's when we subtract. Because again, this is not new information. Now, I might need to remind you the maximum is your high score, and your minimum would be your low score, or your highest piece of data and your lowest piece of data. So let's talk about how we might use these measures of central tendency. Here are the class scores from the last quiz. Remember, our quizzes are out of 5. So I've listed them here. You can see they are not in order. But before we even begin, if I reported the class average, that means I found the mean and I wrote it on the board, the quiz average, would that be a good indication of how successful the class was? Why or why not? You might pause the video here, think about that, and if not sure, you might go back and say, I'm looking at the mean, and read about what we had to say about mean. Okay, well, the truth is it would not be a good indication. But the most important part is why, and it's because of the outlier. The mean would be too low to be an accurate measure. Okay, so now let's look at these numbers and let's do the work. Let's find the median. Remember, to find the median, you've got to put them in order. So I'm going to look at these numbers and I'm going to rewrite them. And I'm going to go ahead and write them big in the middle because I'll need them again. I have my 0, and then I have a 3.75. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 fours. I have a 4.25 and a 4.5 and 2 5s. Okay, so now I need to find the median. So that is the middle number. So I'm going to work my way to the middle, but I'm going to have a problem. I've got two middle numbers. It's not really a problem because with our data, it's the same number. So the answer would just be 4. Sometimes you can think, well, what number would go right in between? And it's really obvious. again, it would be 4. And then some people would want to add 4 plus 4 to get 8, divide by 2, and you're back to 4. How about the most often repeated number? Well, there were 2 5s and 4 4s. So the most often was a 4 again. Our range, if you'll remember, for range, we need to subtract and find the difference. So when I subtract 5 minus 0, that's right, I get 5. So here's where we have to do all the work the mean math teacher makes us do. We need to add all of our data points and then divide by how many that we have. So in my calculator, I need to include 0, plus 375, plus 1, 2, 3, 4 4s, plus 425, plus 4.5, plus 2 5s. My total is going to be 38 and a half. Okay, which that makes sense to me because my 0.75 and my 0.25 would make a whole, and then I would just have the half. So I did a quick check to see if that was reasonable. Now, how many data points did I have? Again, you need to include the 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's right. So I need to take my 38 and a half and divide by 10, which tells me I just need to move that decimal over 1, and I get 3.85. Excellent. All right. What I want you guys to do now is I want you to look at your set of cards that will be in the envelope, and I want you to find the range, mode, median, and mean. Then I want you to take the first digit of the answers in order to find your code. All right, good luck, and I hope that you enjoyed this review over mean, median, mode, and range, all the central tendencies.